What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another reselling show. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Land Shark Picker, Craig, thank you for being here, sir. Appreciate it. And as you guys can see, we have a special guest with us. And we're going to be, as we spoke about earlier, as Oscar and I have been telling everybody with the show and stuff, we have focused on new resellers, and we've done a lot of the things that we have, spoke about, with shipping and dealing with returns and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things we really didn't speak to you guys a lot about is sourcing product and how do you get inventory. And so that's where we are going to. And one of the hottest pieces of inventory right now is trading cards. So we brought on a special guest who has basically he will tell his story, but who is really a driving force in this and really jumping in and really making a go with it. And so we're glad to have him here, Anthony. Thank you very much. But before we get to Anthony, buddy, my brother Oscar, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, bro. What's up, everybody? I'm Oscar El Cubanaso. I'm glad to have a special guest, Anthony, on the show with us, I think. And I was saying right before we started, nobody better to really touch upon this topic than him. I'm really looking forward to getting into it because this is something that I try to get into, when I have time, learn a little bit more about. But at the rate that this segment is taking off, you know what I mean? Getting as much information as we can is definitely going to be, something that's going to help even new resellers, seasoned resellers, because this is something really, really new that's taken off. And the topic for the show is what most interests me: sourcing trading cards. So definitely looking forward to getting into it.
Absolutely.
That's Anthony, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. Much appreciated, sir.
Hey, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. What's up, Craig?
So
yours. My YouTube channel is called Picksburgh. I do a lot of sports card content. I used to do a lot of like garage sales and flea markets and stuff like that. That's why the channel is called Picksburgh, because I'm a picker from Pittsburgh. But then, the pandemic came and sports cards, like Michael said, just completely erupted again. They just became the hottest things out there. And I'd always been a sports card collector since the time I was young. So this was perfect for me because I actually got to make money off of something that I really enjoyed. So I decided maybe 6 months ago, I even shifted all of my content just because sports cards have so kind of taken over my life that my channel is just basically a byproduct of my life and what I'm doing. So naturally it just kind of gravitated more so to the sports cards. I still do storage units and, flea markets and stuff like that as well. But sports cards have kind of taken over the lion's share of the money I make. So it's really cool in a sense that, for example, I consider it part of my job to go to a sports card show now. That's amazing. That's one of my favorite hobbies to do. You know what I mean? I remember back in high school, sneaking off to the sports card show, not wanting my girlfriend to find out because it was considered nerdy back then. But now it's it's awesome. You know what I mean? To be walking around flashing a slab. It's a fashion statement nowadays. I think that's why so many people from the sneaker industry got into it. You know what I mean? Just because of, I don't know. I just think it's flashy. I think it's cool. But yeah, there's a lot of appeal in it. And the crazy thing is I can't keep cards in stock. That's the hardest part of this entire thing, is just keeping the inventory in stock. The way I would explain it to you, especially you guys, since you do Amazon and you're really well versed with it, imagine getting a product that is just so fire that the minute you scan it and list it, it's in your cart, you didn't even check out yet, it's sold.
Yeah.
That's how the cards are whenever they're desirable, especially sealed product. That stuff is gone. Literally, you don't even have to list it. If you have the sealed boxes, you can just go to a local card shop and they will buy it for you, because then they'll just sell it at whatever the eBay price is in their shop. So It's literally that easy that you literally A to B, boom, money made.
Yeah. I've had
one second, Oscar. We have another special guest who would like to join us.
Awesome.
What's going on, guys?
Huddle card collection has decided to jump in the house.
Awesome.
Heard that's
Yeah,
the
we got a
hottest
full
new
house.
channel on YouTube.
Yeah. So, HCC, who are you?
I'm Mike. I'm the Thrifting Goomba's son. Together, we're a Huddle card collection. We have YouTube. We open anything from baseball to Pokemon to wrestling cards. We post every other day right now, and we're just trying to gain a following to hopefully do our first break here in a little while.
That's awesome. I saw not too long ago. I got a notification because I'm subscribed to your channel, and you guys were cracking open NASCAR prism. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
we
do everything.
A Kyle Busch in there that I saw, and I was like, man, I got some Kyle Busch.
He pulled the friggin' Kyle Busch autograph. He pulls all the good stuff. I pull the crap.
Yeah, I have a Kyle Busch helmet that's autographed. That was pretty cool.
Oh wow.
So as we were talking, and Oscar, you were getting ready to go ahead and talk about some of your experience stuff.
Yeah, because Anthony was saying is like some of these unopened packs, like as soon as you get your hands on them, they're gonna go quick, whether it's to a trading card store. And I'm gonna tell you that I've had situations where I do have my cart full, and I have people making me offers before I check out at the store with my cart full of stuff. You know what I mean? I was telling you guys the story about my buddy up in Jacksonville that almost got his head jumped on because people are going crazy over the cards. Like, he doesn't do a lot of Pokemon, but he was able to get a couple elite trainer boxes, and on his way out, the guy told him, "Is like, look, I'll pay you double for what you have," and he sold it to the guy. I mean, he hadn't even paid for it yet. You know what I mean? The guy paid him half, and he can pay with that guy. It's insane.
Awesome.
Yeah, I one time, this would have been many, many months ago, but caught a restock of 1920 Mosaic Mega and hanger boxes in Walmart. And I threw them all in my cart, and I was like, this is a lot of money. At that point, we're still, still trying to figure stuff out and everything. And so I actually took a box. I threw them in my shopping cart. I went to the gardening area where like nobody was, and I propped up a white box on the Walmart shelf. Actually took pictures there and listed everything from my phone. And about an hour and a half after I paid for it, all 5 boxes sold. Mm-hmm. So I was like, you know what? I just paid for a good amount of everything else that's in this shopping cart.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, Anthony, when we talked about, like I was saying, we're talking about sourcing. Mm-hmm. So, how do you get your cards? How do you get your inventory? What are the different, either places, or places you go, or whatever it may be, whether it's online or whatever. How are you getting your cards on a normal? And I throw it out to actually not only just Anthony, but throw it out to everybody on the panel.
Hey, thanks, Greg. So yeah, I source in like a lot of different ways. Primarily, I like to vulture all of the bargain bins at all the local card shops that I go to. So I'll go through like all of their, boxes that are, $1, $3, $5. Some they have as low as 10 cents a card. And what I look for in there is any rookie cards, promising players that still have a chance to be good, or, superstar players like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, players like on that caliber. And then I look for like any kind of short printed cards. And then I look over the condition really, really well. Because the thing I'm ideally looking to do with the cards is get them graded. Because when you get them graded and it comes back a 10, you're looking at, 4 to 10x whatever that card's value is. And if you get the right card, especially older ones, like it's considerably a bigger multiplier on them. So like that's one of the things I've been trying to do is like kind of the idea here is like I had one weekend, right, where I had a crappy weekend of sales. Like I was used to having like 40 packages to pack on a Monday, and I woke up with 7 orders to pack, but they were all graded cards. And I had more money that I made that weekend off of 7 sales than I would normally make off of like 40 some sales. And then I was like, why am I breaking my back doing storage units when cards are so lucrative right now? You know what I mean? So like I still do that stuff just to kind of, make some money. Like, plus I have a whole house, basement, shed, like everywhere is filled with storage unit stuff. So like I have no choice but to keep selling it. But I mean, the real idea, like the light bulb that lit off in my head, I think it was like November or December. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start sending off enough every single month to pay all of my bills and then some. So that way, once I get the slabs back, it's like the entire month's already covered just off of that one order. You know what I mean? And then I started doing that bi-weekly. So that way it's like literally like enough to cover like my monthly nut will come in, maybe every other week or once a month, depending on how long these companies take. I don't even know how many cards I have sitting at PSA right now, but it was literally like I just buried gold, and the price of gold's going up. So I'm not hating it.
Now, do you find a difference between going to a card store versus going to a card show?
Yeah.
I know you do a lot of both.
Yeah. I actually like the shows a little bit better because everybody at the show is looking to wheel and deal. So even if it's not a vendor, like oftentimes you can make deals with other people that are there. But one thing that happens, at least in the Pittsburgh area, like I was just at a card shop the other day and I was talking with the owner and he was like, man, you're not going to find a whole lot today because, we just had that card show this last weekend. And I guess, everybody comes in there and wipes them out before the card show so that they can set up with those cheaper cards. So that typically happens every time. I was still able to find a good 12 items that I wanted to buy out of there. But I like the shows a little bit better because a lot of times you'll get people that maybe are setting up for the first time just because, maybe they're having a financial hardship during COVID and they've been collecting their whole life. And it's like you get primo inventory, like they bring out the big guns for the shows. But then again, you'll always get the people that kind of do this thing for a living where, they might not even be on eBay. Like a lot of these guys just quit eBay and they do 1 or 2 shows a month and they make enough money just setting up 1 or 2 shows a month, to supply them for the, that's like the idea behind like doing as much grading as I'm doing is because of the multiplier you're getting. So you figure you're making at least 4 times your money back every single time. And like I tell people, even like the low end grading companies, like nothing against GMA. I love them as a company. They have good service and everything like that. But the hobby considers them a lower end grading company. And even their slabs, I can't even keep in stock. You know what I mean? Like To the Moon Collectibles, Skylar, I interviewed him on the channel last week. I went on his Instagram and it's like literally like I thought these things were liquid on eBay and on Facebook. And I went on Instagram and it was like pouring gas on what I already thought was a raging fire. You know what I mean? So it was like just finding like the people that are like actively like trying to buy up everything. Like these guys didn't really care what cards I was holding up. I was like, I got this Pokemon card, but it's in Spanish. What's that, a 9? I don't care. I'll take it. Like, it's like, okay, cool.
Well, it's funny if you say that about, GMA and everything, Mike, what was your experience with the GMA cards that we got back from Anthony?
I've listed LaMelo and Anthony Edwards and James Wiseman, and I think within the first week of listing the Anthony Edwards, it sold. I had it listed for like $45 or whatever. And I mean, it wasn't too long that one was gone. And I mean, the other ones have people watching it and stuff, and hopefully they go soon. But I mean, yeah, I think the GMA stuff a lot more people are liking now because it's faster turnaround.
That's one thing I've been noticing a little bit more at some of the shows too, is people actually having GMA slabs out. Like in Pittsburgh, I've never seen that, but in Ohio, I'm starting to see it more and more. So that's kind of encouraging to see it and see it be a little bit more accepted. I think with PSA shut down, it's opened a lot more people's minds to the idea of using other companies.
And more companies are popping up.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like, all of a sudden, Gate City, and what was it? Personal Finance Dad had Graded PRX is a brand new one, and then you and Skylar talked about the Grading Authority. I mean, it seems like new types of companies are popping up all the time, and it's going to be interesting, because as you make a good point. When you're sourcing that card, you really have to look at it, especially if it's going to be an investment piece for you.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's, everybody, we all call this a hobby. It's a hobby. It's a hobby. But the truth is for a lot of people, it's an investment.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's fine. But you treat it that way. So. But I think you have to look at how you go ahead and acquire those cards.
Yeah. Well, for me, I guess I fall within that category of purely an investment. I'm not really a collector of cards, even though I do have a couple, I don't know, probably like 50,000 cards, right? But I'm not a collector. These are things that I've acquired, not just from retail arbitrage and coming across a couple blasters and hangers and mega boxes and whatnot, and buying some complete sets from YouTube auctions and cards that I found in storage units. I mean, I found like 5 Michael Jordans in a storage unit and a bunch of other cards together. They were the Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck slabbed. You know what I mean? His rookie.
Yep.
I found a couple things inside of storage units, but these are things that I'm holding them as investments. You know what I mean?
I don't blame you.
All of these cards, I'm not one of those to really flip. I guess in the beginning I had a problem with these packs. When I'd finally be able to get my hands on a blaster, I wouldn't be able to sell the whole blaster. I have to rip it open. But in these cards, I sit on them. It was we were talking about earlier. The whole mosaic. Everybody was after the John Morants. Everybody was going after Zion. Everybody was crazy for Zions. I get super excited. I mean, me and Mike, we opened up a couple of packs on live. And we pulled some Zions. It was fun, and I still have those cards. You know what I mean? So I definitely look at it from the investor standpoint. It's one of these things that I've never sent out anything to get graded, but it's something that I want to do. I guess I'm not familiar with the process. I've kind of looked into it. I've had Beckett, you know what I mean? Like the Beckett a while back, I was going to send it through Beckett, but then some things are better to send it to PSA, so but I've never actually made that jump into sending any cards in. And I know that now it's getting a lot more difficult, but I guess the
more expensive too.
And more expensive. I think PSA is only allowing the express, right? $300 or something like that. But I mean, to compensate that, now they've created a lot of competitors. Not them. I guess the demand has created, more competition with all of these new grading services. So I'm definitely planning on sending in a bulk of cards, to get graded. But again, it's to hold on to as an investment standpoint.
Yep. I always tell people whenever they have really, really good cards, PSA is always the way to go. So right now with the really fire stuff you have, I would just hold it and send it to PSA when they reopen at a more manageable price. BGS isn't bad. I've been sending a lot of my raw autographs to them to get graded, but it's still $35 per card, which compared to PSA is not a lot, but it's still a lot more than PSA used to be before the price hike,
right.
Plus an extra $2 to grade the auto. But they're not bad. SGC was 25. They're 75 now. I'm guessing until PSA reopens, then they'll probably jump back down. Mama's in the house.
Mama's in the house. Yep. Yeah, they're going to have to. I mean, there's no way SGC is going to be able to stay at $75 a card. I tell you, and I know, I mean, and this is the way it goes. We have a great topic and everything, and we hit it, and we talk about a bunch of other stuff, and and which is fine. I love that kind of stuff. The let the show flow. Don't worry that sticking to a specific program and everything. But here's the thing with me that I'm concerned about now. Well, I'm not concerned about. I think for me personally, but I think from a hobby standpoint is with an HGA, with a pure graded, with a TGA, with some more of these companies coming on using AI and scanners to really look at a card. The gold standard was a PSA 10. What is that still going to be once you get more of these other companies that are scanning cards, be a part of it? What's going to happen to all those PSA 10s? Where's their value going to end up? That's my concern.
PSA actually just acquired a new company too called Gemma, which is actually a computer grading company already. I think they're mainly using it for the purposes of keeping like a fingerprint of each card that comes in. So say you were to send in a Zion and you're like, man, that's a 10. They're giving me a 9. They're trying to control population. When they bring it back through and the thing scans it again, it'll be like, this was sent in. We graded it a 9. And they'll just give you a 9 again. Either that or something like regraded or something on the label.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Very, very interesting.
But I mean, they could use that technology too to kind of regulate their grading process more. I would imagine they probably need to put a little bit more programming into it to do a little bit more next. I think right now it's mainly set up just to put a fingerprint on the card. So that way, like, even if you were to, send a card that looks almost identical, it's still know the difference somehow.
Yeah, what gets me is why does that matter?
I don't know.
You send a card in, you get a PSA 8, and you go, that's a bunch of crap. This should be a 10. And you crack it, and you send it back in. Why should, you're not trying to get anything over on PSA. It's not like you've gone ahead and, I can understand if all of a sudden you saw a corner and you figure, you know what, I get out my little trusty, my blade, and I'll try and, make that corner crisp and stuff like that. I can understand that, but they would find that out anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Even if that was a card that never went to them before, if you trim a card or something, they all find out.
Absolutely. I mean, even if you just dab a corner with a black marker, they're going to know.
Yeah. All that kind of stuff.
I think the main reason they want to make sure no cards are resubmitted is because of the population reports. So, for example, the big worry in the hobby is that we might be entering a junk slab era, because back in the day, nobody graded cards at all. That's why, if you get a Kobe Bryant rookie in a PSA 10 or a Michael Jordan rookie in a PSA 10, it's a big deal. But there's, going to be hundreds of thousands of probably Zion rookies eventually. Right now there's over 20-some thousand, I believe, already PSA 10, and there's probably right now they think there's at least a 10 million card backlog at PSA.
Yeah.
So if all of these cards are from the last year or so, most of that's probably Zion, Ja Morant, those type of guys.
Yeah,
you're right.
So they're going to be so much more heavily populated. So I think the main reason they don't want it going back in is so that way, their pop report doesn't keep climbing on the cards and it being kind of artificially higher.
No, that makes sense. I think that a lot of things have changed and everything, but Mike, I got a question for you. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I want to say about this, the whole PSA purchasing that other company. Honestly, I saw that and I read the report. Mike, you shared it to me. One thing that I think that they were doing is I think Anthony's definitely right about that. They could be using it for that purpose to be able to grade cards different when it comes back a second time, etc. A fingerprint, for that specific card. But also, I think that it was in their best interest for them to buy that company, especially since this was a company that I think it had a lot of hype, and could have been, a very strong competitor for them. So that's why I think they had taken advantage of the opportunity to buy them out. It's better to have this technology on my side than, on the opposite side competing against me. So I think it was good what they did. It was a smart decision, a smart move, and at the same time, it's going to help them with that $10 million card, backup that they have. So
absolutely.
Well, you wonder,
I imagine. Sorry, and because I imagine they're taking everything. They're taking the employees and everything with them, right? So now they have more hands on that.
Yep. But here's the part that I start when I thought about it a little more. You just made me think a little bit more about it, and what Anthony was said about the pop report. I wonder if that's part of what they're looking at, of saying, look, we have all these cards in the back room. The only way to get through them and to get through them quickly is going to be with some kind of help, right? So this can go ahead and maybe help them, but also it gives them the opportunity of, if all of a sudden now they're trying to get through these cards, there might be a lot of people who disagree with the gradings, because look, to get through 10 million cards, to get to somewhat normal, you have to push through a lot of cards on a daily basis.
Oh yeah.
You know,
And I can't even imagine how fast they have to do each card too, because even if you've seen some of the live streams I do where I kind of pre-grade stuff and I go through and I'm looking for defects and stuff.
Yeah.
So as of right now, they're doing that by human eye. So, you know what I mean? Like it would be easy to miss something if they're on a time crunch. Like they have to do so many cards per hour or else they get written up or something. I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but I would imagine with PSA being so backed up, they're probably working them like with whips and everything, you know, trying to get as many done as possible.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, from a standpoint of it, it's like, you know, and how do you, in that profession, how do you go ahead and, you know, increase your workforce? You know, because it's, you know, like if you need a carpenter, you can find, like, there's not like a whole bunch of, you know, guys sitting at home that are graders that were out of jobs going, man, one of these days we're going to get another job as a grader. Oh my gosh, PSA is hiring. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I mean, from that standpoint. So, like, where are all these people coming from?
I don't know, man. Actually, the funny thing was when Dustin had Carson Cruz on his channel, the guy who started Pure Graded X, they were actually talking about how they were hiring and stuff. And I actually sent him an email like, hey, like, I do group submissions. Like, I'm already kind of pre-grading cards on a, you know, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly basis. You know what I mean? So, like, I reached out, like, what exactly does it entail? Because I know with their company, they do a lot of virtual grading. Like, the first part of it's done by computer, and then the second part's done by, you know, somebody with a trained eye. So, like, that was intriguing to me. Like, I could literally sit here at my house in Pittsburgh and make money looking over cards, which is something I would love to do anyway. Like, I'm naturally nebby, so, like, I kind of want to know what people are sending in to get graded. You know what I mean? So, like, it would be kind of cool to, like, open up my email and be like, oh, look at all these cool cards people were sending in. You know what I mean? And then they make the custom slabs for them. So, you know, it's just, for me, it's fun as a collector. You know what I mean? More so than an investor. I really love that company as a collector.
Did he ever respond?
Yeah, they actually already have, like, they sent me a template for, like, my card label and everything already, and they said they forwarded, like, my inquiry about the grading up to, you know, whoever was in charge of it. But yeah, they were super quick with it too.
They told you basically what it entails. It's basically what you said, right? That you just sit at home and just review cards.
Well, I didn't get, like, the full rundown of, like, what it would entail, but, like, for me, that would be, like, something I would do as a hobby anyway. But just that's kind of what I gathered from the interview that he gave, because there was a few people asking questions in the chat.
No, I can probably, off the top of my head, just come up with like 10, 20 people that I think that would love to do that regardless.
You know?
You know what I mean? So
that's why I hit him up. I was like, I'm literally sitting here for hours looking at cards anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I might as well look at a few more.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny you say that, because so yesterday I went ahead and I sent I subbed 4 cards to, you know, Pure Graded X. And I did not understand the process completely. Like, I knew, you know, I went on the website, did what I had to do. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Where's my button to hit submit? What the heck's going on? And I'm looking. And I didn't realize that it's in the email you get.
Yep.
So I sent a message at
I
was doing it late last night. I sent a message at like 11:45 or 11:50. Hey, so and so, and I got an email back just saying, "Hey, we got your message. We'll answer right away." And then all of a sudden, I got a text message, from a guy, like, I think his name is Alan. Hey, just want to let you know here's what I'm like. Wow, thanks a lot. Hey, I'll look at the email in the morning. You know, it's a little late here and everything. And he replied back, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm on the West Coast." So the whole thing of what you're saying is that you don't have to be. The cards went to Arkansas, you know, but you don't have to be there. So I mean, their help is already spread out and everything.
Yep.
You know,
That's what's really cool about it. I mean, he doesn't even do the designing anymore for it. He has graphic designers that he's hired to come in and do the stuff. So I think it's really cool. You know what I mean? And like, I like the fact that he's a guy just like us that doesn't like the state of the hobby. Like as far as like all of these companies just like bashing us with prices and stuff. And he said, "The heck with it. I'll just start my own company." So I was like, "That's really cool." And like just the look of the slab was enough for me to want to send in, personal stuff.
Yeah. So, Mike, I have a question for you, being the youngster of the panel. How do you look at this? Do you look at it as hobby, investing, and from your age? I mean, people in your age group. I mean, are any of them talking about it and so on and stuff like that?
Well, start off for the end of the question. I don't know. I mean, I've talked to a couple of my friends about it and stuff. I mean, they're like, oh yeah, when it started blowing up, their dads and stuff looked into their collection or whatever, but they personally haven't been doing anything with it or anything. So, I mean, as far as I'm aware, I'm kind of the only youngster, I guess. I mean, there's a couple of other YouTube channels that we know that are a father-son duo, but their kids are a lot younger, so I don't know if they fully understand like what everything's about. But from investment and hobby, I think at first I saw it as a hobby just to get cool stuff that I like, but since I bought a bunch of stuff for my PC through our mail day videos, I'm now trying to look at more of stuff for investment to find, to grade, and then to sell on the eBay store, through Instagram or wherever, because spending the money on the cards, I need to recoup that now.
Hey, I feel him on that one. That's for sure.
Absolutely, man. And it's so easy to spend the money on them too. Yep. It's so hard.
Yeah, because one of the guys I PC is Michael Chavik, because my sisters went to high school with him.
Awesome.
He gave me some lessons in baseball and stuff. So like anytime I go on eBay, like if there's one of his cards that I think is relatively cheap, I'll go ahead and scoop that up. But
awesome.
I've done that a couple of times now, so those little dollars are starting to add up to larger amounts.
Yeah, believe me. I mean, going inside of Walmart and you expect to get maybe one thing, and walking out with $600 worth of cards. You know what I mean?
Well, it's crazy what the hobby has created, because now it's like if you go in and you happen to catch it,
mm-hmm.
Back in the day, you would go ahead and you say, you know what, I'll have, there's 3 different types of cards here. I'll take one box.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're like, you know what? No one's here. All right, they're all mine. I mean, I did that. My daughter graduated. This past Friday, Mike and I were in Birmingham and stuff. My daughter graduated from pharmacy college, and I went to Walmart. I went walking in there, and I was like, oh wow, there's some stuff here on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
So I went ahead and I put some in my in the shopping cart and everything. And I walked around to look for a couple of things because we drove. I could go ahead, and I sat there and I said, you know what? I need to go back. There's no need for me to go ahead and leave that stuff there. I went and I just I filled up 2 Walmart bags of cards.
Didn't you run into the restock guy?
Yeah, I was bummed out about that one. Actually, the first time ever, I actually ran into the guy doing the restock.
That's awesome.
And it was a smaller Walmart, though. And all he had was fat packs of Heritage from a sports. I mean, he had Magic the Gathering cards, and Yu-Gi-Oh, which is a good point. I want to talk about that card stuff because I know, so I was like, any select, and it's like, nah, man, I don't have any of that stuff. So I was bummed out. But a lot of people think
Heritage Auto.
Nice.
I didn't even know they had auto.
Yeah. So we talk about sports, but it really is trading cards. Now, Anthony, you were a professional Pokemon player, weren't you?
I don't know if I'd call it professional, but the way that they do it, like for the church I was running, I wanted to start a Pokemon League there, and in order for me to be able to do that, I had to be authenticated through Pokemon as what they call professor. So I would like officiate tournaments and stuff like that. So I guess you could say professional, but
Sure.
not too much about me.
Professor Oak.
But that's another avenue, for people. Like there's sports cards, but if you're not into sports, we call it sports cards, but in truth of the matter is it really is trading cards, right? Because it's
Absolutely.
there's everything now, right? There's Transformers, there's Ninja Turtles, there's everything. I mean, there's TV shows that have
Yeah.
cards now and everything. But here's
That's
one
the
thing I
point.
don't understand. Yeah,
Marvel.
Marvel, yeah. But here's one thing I don't understand. I've heard so much about Magic the Gathering, right?
I was a Magic the Gathering player.
But what I don't understand is why are there cards in abundance on the Walmart shelves?
I couldn't tell you that, but
I
the
don't know.
older
I've never
Walmart
played
Magic
Magic, to be
cards,
honest.
the older Magic cards are, worth significant amount of money. Old antiquity sets and the Arabian Nights sets. There's some cards that are worth quite a bit. But yeah, it's true. They're on the shelves. You know what I mean? I don't know if it has something to do with how many of these cards are being produced. Because we all know that because Magic the Gathering is something that's been international for a very long time. In every single country in the world, there's people playing Magic the Gathering. And that's been tournaments for years and years and years. Pokemon is fairly newer in far as trading card games. So just like Yu-Gi-Oh, and you're not gonna find Pokemon. I guess Pokemon now has got more hype than anything else. Magic the Gathering doesn't have that hype. They've just maintained their loyal fan base and those that have passed it on to their kids. But it could have something to do with how many cards are produced because they're producing these cards all over the world for tournaments and people that actually really play the game. Because I don't know how popular Pokemon is as far as a trading card game, but Magic the Gathering as a trading card game is extremely popular.
I would say that Pokemon is the most popular total trading card in the entire world, but as far as trading card game, Magic is probably way more popular. I honestly, you know what I think it might be, and I think you were nailing it right on the head. I don't have any proof to say this is it, but it's my opinion as well. That I think the demographic of people that are buying the cards are different. Like for example, most people that are into Magic are into it for competitive play, and they're super hardcore into playing Magic. Whereas Pokemon, there's a whole demographic of people that just like collecting it because they grew up watching it, or they like playing the games, or they just like the characters. They could care less about even playing it competitively. Whenever I was really big into collecting it, it was more so because I was playing it competitively. So I wanted the cards that were good in tournaments. I didn't care so much about pulling the big Charizards and stuff, because back then I wasn't even grading stuff. So I would have been more excited about a card that would be worth $5 today, but back then it was probably a $200 card because so many people had to run it in so many decks to make them work. So I really think that might be a part of it, because a lot of the fan base, for example, I don't know how many of their cards get sent in for grading, but I would imagine it would probably be a fraction of say Magic or even Yu-Gi-Oh for that sense. I don't know, because even Yu-Gi-Oh had a TV show and a little bit of a cult following as well. So I just think for that reason, it's a little bit more collectible. But Magic is definitely probably the most popular trading card game of all time. What's up, Big Mike?
Big Mike is here. Chris, the hobby beast, he made a good point. He met up once and 4 boxes of optic basketball. Man, that's gold right there.
That is awesome.
That is gold.
Yeah, I've personally never ever been lucky enough to hit a restock, because all of my Walmarts near me all do the limited quantity. But I'm lucky enough to have really awesome friends that are hey, I just hit a restock. Do you want to buy half of it off of me? Yes, please.
money from Mark. Welcome. So here's a question. So you're saying that Magic the Gathering needs more cards because it's played more, thus more supply.
I don't necessarily know if it's printed more. It's definitely more of a playable thing. Whereas people like no one grew up saying, "Oh man, that Magic the Gathering show, that was so awesome. I loved watching that." Or you know what I mean? Or like there's not a new video game coming out yearly like there is with Pokemon, or you know what I mean? So I just think that there's a big nostalgia factor, especially because a lot of the people buying into this stuff are probably right around my age, a little bit older, a little bit less. So they're buying up a lot of their childhood stuff, and like that was really big, like, you know, throughout like the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, that's, that kind of stuff's before my time. I'm the old man of the crew here. So, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering and everything.
So it'd be after your time then.
Excuse me?
Be after your time then, not before.
Yeah, it should be after my time. That's right. But I mean, it was after my time for sure. I was a little bit older. So. Chris says he still has his Yu-Gi-Oh deck he played as a kid.
That's awesome, man. I would definitely look through that, man. Look for hollows.
Yeah.
Like the key characters.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, yesterday I was going through a couple boxes, and then I do remember seeing some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like, this was stuff from a storage unit, and I just can't look at this.
Nice. That's a base set pack. Jumbo pack too?
This was in there. Hold on, here yeah, look, see, there were some Yu-Gi-Oh cards in there.
Nice.
I don't know if that's worth anything, but there was some good stuff in there. Look.
That's awesome.
See, this is what happens, man. You start to go ahead and you start to go through, you pull out a box and everything, the next thing you know.
There was no Shadowless Charizard.
Those base set ones you have there, Oscar, if they're in good condition, man, you should grade those. They'll go way up in price.
Yeah. No, these I had separated to really look at them closely to see if they were in good enough condition, to grade. But they look in pretty good condition considering that, they were, I don't know if this was from a storage unit, if it was from a bulk buy, because everything is mixed up inside the garage. I gave my daughter a bunch of, Pocket Monster cards. It's like a Blastoise or something, you know what I mean? But this stuff right here, I really wanted to look at it a little bit closer to see if it was worth sending it in.
A lot of that stuff, if you price it fairly on eBay, it'll probably sell within a day. Like, I took in a binder of that exact type of stuff as a consignment a couple months ago. Literally listed it on a Friday night. Every single one of the hollows was sold before I even woke up on Saturday.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was so quick. A lot of them, like there was 2 guys watching my store and kept asking, like, "Are you listing more?" And like literally sending me messages every 5 minutes, like, "Dude, where's the next one? Where's the next one?" Oh dang, I just missed that one. So like when you get that real fire inventory, like I've only had that happen one other time, and it was when I was posting like high end Nintendo games and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, like there's a huge fan base for that, man. Especially if it's at a fair price, they'll buy it now like so fast.
I mean, I guess it goes back to the whole investor aspect of it, So
right.
I decide with grade some and then list the rest of them on eBay,
Yeah, and I think one of the things that has helped, with eBay is coming up with that new eBay standard envelope. I mean, that has helped with a lot of, being able, and I'm not talking about, I know these would be higher, maybe some higher priced cards, but those marginal cards that guys wouldn't want to list before, that they had sitting there that are not, they're not a $15, $20 card, raw. They're a $3 card, they're a $4 card, but there's a fan out there of every single player that plays, you know what I'm saying? Yep. And it was tough up until eBay did this, because you'd see a $3 card and go, man, I would love to have that card.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's $5.85 to ship because it's coming from Seattle, and it's like, okay, pass. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a good thing. Anthony, I think Mike wants to show a
when
Pokemon.
We did our first Pokemon. I mean, I think I got the hit of it, but I mean, I don't know what it is. It's like a rainbow.
Oh, yeah, it's considered a rainbow rare.
And that's
it's also considered an ultra rare as well, hyper rare.
VMAX.
It's a full card art.
Yep.
Yeah.
That thing is nice, man.
I mean, it's like the only thing we got out of that. So I don't know if it was. I assumed it was something good.
The crazy thing is there's guys that'll literally collect like every single card in the set in every variation. So just the fact that you have it in that variation, there's going to be tons of people specifically searching just for that variation too. 'Cause that's like one of the best rarities you can get.
Nice. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting how the market has come and everything, and how how you have to source differently. I think I think really with the way the market it has changed people's thought process now, where individual cards, there are a lot more people that are going for individual cards than they are trying to buy packs or boxes and everything, because it's it's crazy. I mean, I was looking, no, I will join breaks every now and again, depending on and I'll do it more when new stuff comes out. Like I joined a couple. Bowman baseball came out today, so I joined a couple and stuff. But I was looking at the website of one of the companies that I was using, and they were doing what is it? I think it's like Prism Basketball Hobby Box pack, just one pack, 12 cards, and it's like $149 or $199.
Yeah, it's insane.
And it's like, oh no, I'm sorry, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, what was it that came out? What was the one that came out? It's like 7 cards. Inception, baseball Inception, Topps Inception came out, 7 cards, and it's like $180 for the box.
Yeah.
7 cards.
Yeah.
I saw one the other day. Leaf has Leaf Lumber. It's 4 cards. The boxes start at $299.
Wow.
Insane. I saw. I don't know if you ever watched the Sports Card Investors YouTube channel.
Yeah.
A little bit before we went live, he was live doing a box break of 96, 97 Topps Chrome, which is like the Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Steve Nash, like Ray Allen, like huge, great rookie class.
Oh wow.
And he was doing like individual like 60-second auctions for like each pack, and there were packs going for like $1,200, $1,300, $1,400. Like,
oh my goodness.
And there's only 4 cards in each one of the packs. So like literally there's people paying like $250+ per card.
Yeah.
Like, man, like, but one guy hit a Kobe, and like that, that's selling at like I think $5K raw right now.
Yeah.
So like he scored, you know what I mean? But it's a gamble like anything else, especially when you're doing individual packs, because there's only, X number of hits per pack.
And only X number of hits per box.
Exactly.
From that standpoint,
Exactly.
But it's interesting going out and seeing how the way, it has changed. I mean, again, we talk about sourcing, okay? When I started collecting, we went ahead and took, $3, $4. We went, me and my buddy would get on our bicycles, or we would walk to the candy store.
Yep.
And right up at the counter next to the cash register was the box of Topps cards, because that was really the only one, back in the late 70s and everything, that was the one that was out there the most everywhere, and it was, maybe it was the pack that had, 35 cards, with a stick of gum, and it was, 49 cents. We'd say, okay, I need 2. And then he'd be like, well, what about tax and everything? You'd be like, oh crap, all right, just give me 1.
Exactly.
And that's what you would do and everything. But, you look at it from a standpoint of is we weren't collecting the cards. I mean, we held on to the cards. I mean, I held on to the cards, but I did not treat them the way they needed to be treated, to where they would have, those 76, 77, 78 cards, would have more value. I mean, you're talking about, 1976, when the Toronto Blue Jays and Seattle Mariners just started everything, so that's, first year cards from those teams and everything. But, we played with them, we flipped them. We didn't, it was like, and you freely traded. There was no, really value to the card. It was, okay, you're a fan of, the Mets. I'm this guy's a fan of the Yankees. Okay, here's all my Yankees to you. All right, here's all my Mets to you. It wasn't a value type thing, the way it is now. Now, you try and go trade a card to be like, well, hold on a second. How many of your cards are you going to give me? Because the value of this card, is this amount of dollars and everything. So it's interesting how I've watched it, change, from that standpoint to where then you look at the 90s where freaking cards were everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Like, you couldn't go anywhere without finding cards, and they printed them by, the millions and everything and stuff, and those are the ones that are very easy to go ahead and get. And they're also the ones that are, worth, the least amount of money and stuff.
Yeah.
But then again, like I said, you didn't back then, again, we didn't have, you didn't go to, again, where I lived in New York, we didn't have Walmart. There wasn't, there was no Target or anything. You went to the candy store to get cards. Mm-hmm. That was retail, and you didn't think about, well, obviously we didn't have, the internet back in 1976. So, stuff like that. So we weren't going to tops.com.
Yeah.
And I didn't have my bot in the background trying to buy every single hobby box on every single website. So but that's how people source now. That's how this generation, not this generation, but this generation of sourcers, not necessarily it has nothing to do with the age. It has the people that are buying, you have the bots now that are, buying a lot of the stuff and everything.
Yep.
So it's interesting how the hobby has changed, how it has gone from hobby, and it's still a hobby. In my opinion, there's still a hobbyist portion of it, but I think there are a lot more investors involved now.
Definitely, especially with the high-end stuff. There's a lot of big money coming into it. And like even lately, like with the market taking a bit of a dip, honestly, I think a lot of that has to do with like the NFT eruption, you know what I mean? With like the Top Shot and all that stuff. Because like I was just saying this in Chris Thrift Beast's chat the other day when he was opening up some stuff, like, you figure so many people have like that are big time collectors are dumping, hundreds of thousands of dollars that would normally go into their collection, you know what I mean? Because they would normally be investing it into like a physical card, but now they're doing it more so to get the, the moments and stuff. So I think that's a big part of it too, because that's a big wave too. So I don't necessarily think that means anything horrible for the market as a whole. I just think that there's a lot of money being spread around now.
Well, and you have the influencers that are more prevalent now than ever before also.
That's true.
And a lot of people and a bunch of them get accused of stuff. I saw the guy, sports card investor guy. He came on, he did a whole show about, buying up boxes of cases of Select, and I forgot what year and everything. And man, he was getting roasted in the comments of that video of saying, yeah, of course you're gonna talk about it and pump it up because you went ahead and just spent a whole bunch of money on them, and now look where it is and stuff.
Yep.
From that standpoint. But the market definitely, is there for everybody to, I don't know if it's there for everybody it's everybody there to succeed to a certain level. But again, it's like anything else. I mean, when you have that rare item or limited production, you're only going to have certain people who are going to be able to afford it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no different than if it was a car that they only make, a couple hundred of, or, so on and so forth, whatever it may be. Any kind of limited edition stuff is always going to be that way.
Absolutely.
I think that's something that they'll definitely have to maintain it that way, honestly, at least if they're going to keep this alive at all. Because, I mean, everybody knows, what was it, 1989? What was the biggest mistake that all of the card manufacturers made? They were mass producing these cards on such a level that, I mean, it doesn't matter whose house you were at, you were going to find these 89 tops, 99 top cards. It doesn't matter if it was in the bottom of the junk drawer. but it was something that they knew, and I think that this time around they're conscious of it. That if they're going to go ahead and they're going to produce these cards in massive quantities, the only thing that they're going to do is they're going to destroy the value of the card, and also the tradability of these cards, for collectors, because imagine everybody just goes out and buys a box and they got a full collection, or they buy a couple boxes. And I said there's a full collection because they're going to continue to printing it, and there's going to be enough boxes for them to buy until they have their complete sets. You know what I mean? So it kind of ruins the whole, tradability of it if they were to mass produce it. But
there's a lot of people that do complete sets still. You know what I mean? Which, like today, I don't even know how you can afford to complete a set, but there's people that still will spend whatever amount of money they need to get every last card in a set.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, he collects a lot of football. He's got every single card in a couple of the sets. He's got every single card, and I don't know if you know those cards that are their cutouts, that it's like hands-on. And the Thunder and Lightning cards. Like he's got multiple sets of the Thunder and Lightning cards.
That's awesome.
And he'll go ahead and he'll sell the whole set, and then he'll build it back again. You know what I mean? So there's definitely a lot of people collecting full sets.
Hello, Never Done Thrifting. How are you? Well, but there again, in lies another layer, another rub, and Mike has seen this when he talked about, trying to get Michael Chavis cards, right? His PC. I mean, you go out there and it's like, oh my gosh, there's, you don't even know like how many cards there are anymore. That's the one thing about 1989 and and those times, right? There was what? 3 manufacturers. There wasn't, the gold foil, the green foil, the red foil, the blue foil, the green cracked ice, the red cracked ice, the orange cracked ice, the Mojo, the this, the Vector, what I'm saying? So it's like, you didn't even have that. You had Topps, you had Bowman, and maybe you had Leaf. Okay, I got all 3. I got every single card from 1989 of this guy. Now you don't even know where it is. I mean, look, like I said, Mike's trying to do it, with Michael Chavis, but Anthony, you're trying to do it with Okoro from the Cavs, right?
Yep. So
how do you know when you're done?
I don't think you're ever done. That's the sad part. There's too many sets. Like, I'm at least going to get all of the ones that aren't like super expensive. Like anything I can pick up for like $1 or $2, I'm going to buy every variant of it. But not that I think it's going to be super valuable one day. I hope it will be, but I just really like Okoro.
But that's what I'm saying, all right. So you start looking at everything, and you have, because you have the base card, then you again, now that everything. That's one thing about what the Panini has done, and now, but I mean, Topps has jumped right in on it once they saw Panini doing it. Was with the Mojo, the Refractor, the full foil, the gold foil, the black edge, the brown edge, the red foil, the name variation. The pose variation, the short print, the super short print. It's like, oh my Lord. And then you look and you go, wow, I can't believe I got one. Oh no, that's just the regular one. But it looked really good.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that's one thing they do nowadays that they didn't do back in the days was like all of the different variations and stuff like that. Like back in the day, it's like we were just used to like, oh wow, that's Ken Griffey's rookie card. Cool. That's what it's supposed to look like. So I think that's why base cards are even so hot in the hobby nowadays, because there's so many different variations. Most people like our age are just like, just give me the card that is his rookie card, that looks like his rookie card, that's famous for being his rookie card. You know what I mean? Because there are so many different variants. It's hard to keep up with them.
Yeah, I can tell you the first time when I ever saw the variant. So my dad, he had bought me like a couple boxes. I was like 5 years old, 6 years old. It was like 91 Bowman set, right? And then I had the 91 Bowman sets. At the bottom it was a full image, and at the bottom it had the B, and then it was the dotted border that went around. But it's the first time that I ever seen that there was a type of variation, because I remember seeing that I had a Chipper Jones card, and the Chipper Jones card was a regular base card. It was nice, but then continuing opening up packs, I noticed that I got a Chipper Jones card, but it had the Braves emblem, like a refractor style, behind him. That's the first time that I had ever seen a variation. It was super cool, and I thought it was the best thing in the world. Honestly, I'm a 6-year-old kid. I was like, yo, this is awesome.
That actually That actually brings up a good point, because they had that like back in those days, like say even the 90s, like with Shaq. The very next year, there's a variation where instead of like his name just being in a blue box, it was like a gold foiled box. You know what I mean? So like that was pretty much the extent of things, I guess, until they started doing the refractors and stuff, and then they just made them shiny.
Yeah, and then I remember that there was Fleer, but then they came out with the Fleer Ultra cards. You know what I mean? That there was a little change, you know, that they made it a little bit more attractive. So I mean, I think it was a very good move on you know, on the manufacturers to make that to create the variants. Ingenious, actually.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was until last year that we really started to see when these super short print runs, because I think it was when Panini started to say that because of the pandemic and everything that was going on, if some of their sets were limited the year before, talking about 2019, 2020 was going to be even more limited, because, you know, they had the closures and everything that's going on. And then so people just went crazy. Oh, super short pandemic year is even more, you know, more desirable for them because of how limited it was going to be.
Well, I think now with the ability probably to print easier, you know, it makes it, you know, I don't mean easier. I mean, obviously the process to, you know, do a refractor versus cracked-eye, or is that, but now it's like, hey, guess what, guys? We have this one, you know, like you know, the image doesn't change on a lot. So when Donruss came out, they put their image and then said, hey, we could put a little shine to this and call it optic.
Oh, yeah.
The exact same picture.
Yep.
But now this one has shine, so this one's going to be more expensive than this one. You know what I'm saying? I think, you know, you did it, you know, from that standpoint. And when you look at, you know, Topps did it with Chrome, and then Bowman, and they had to have Bowman Chrome and everything, you know, from that standpoint. Mama says she collects full sets of boxing, 3 different brands.
That's awesome.
I mean, I haven't seen boxing cards. I'm not, you know.
She has a ton of them.
Let me tell you something.
She's a major fan. Yes, Mike.
Well, we did some with that. Or I guess the video hasn't come out yet, but there was one packs that had like horses, jockeys, all that types of different things.
The
Sports Kings volume or whatever.
Yeah, Sports Kings. They have all. Yeah.
They have like everything in there. I mean, we each got a card of a horse.
Right.
The Seabiscuit rookie card.
Right.
You know what I mean?
One of one guys with cards of animals.
No, that's it. Yeah, that's the truth right there. They have that one.
You know.
Yeah, the Seabiscuit auto is probably a tough one to get.
That's a one-of-one refractor prism.
It's
the disco ball Seabiscuit.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know,
well, honestly, something that I would probably, if I was going to collect something, it would probably be boxing. Aside from baseball, because I still have baseball collections. I don't really add to that collection anymore. I have my collection from when I was a kid, which are basically the Bowmans that I'm telling you, and a couple of the 89 upper decks and things like that. I have those collections of cards. But boxing is definitely one that I would probably consider collecting, definitely. Because I like boxing, you know what I mean? Probably UFC. Have you guys ever seen UFC?
Yeah, UFC stuff's pretty popular.
Yeah? I still haven't been able to see any of those out there in the wild.
I don't know if we've seen...
No, we haven't seen... I mean, I've only seen them on Panini's website when they're about to drop or whatever. And
there you go, Chris. Rookie horsehair hoof auto.
That's a relic.
One of one. But I tell you, you know, it's funny. You know, about a year ago and everything, when I started looking at, you know, the cards and everything, I mean, you know, the Panini, the Prism, you know, soccer cards were on the shelf, and people will go, you know, them and the NASCAR, people were just leaving them behind me. And I was like, soccer cards, man. You know, now again, you know, kick myself in the rear end for, you know,
leaving them up there, huh?
For not, you know, for not picking them up and stuff like that, you know. But it's,
I like,
you know,
Champions League, yeah, you know, like the Champions League soccer and things like that.
Yeah,
that's something that I would not leave on the shelf, honestly. You know, like imagine getting a Messi auto, you know, a Ronaldo auto 1-1, you know, and a relic that has a piece of a soccer ball. Yeah, you imagine that?
Would you? Yeah, you speaking?
I got David Beckham relic in that sports volume pack.
Yeah.
Nice.
Game used David Relic, David Beckham, shirt and everything. But I did in Alabama. Tops had Top Soccer out, so I bought a couple of blasters of that.
Nice.
We haven't opened it yet.
Yeah, soccer is actually the fastest growing sports card market on eBay as far as sales. So, like, as far as like people listing more and buying more, it's the fastest growing out of all the sports, even over basketball.
And right now, you could also get it inexpensive.
Yep.
I mean, I picked up. It's funny you say that, but the other day I was looking and I had, it's the last day. Today it's the last month for eBay bucks.
Mhm.
So I was buying so much. I had, gaining my eBay bucks. I was like, well, I got to use them. So I started, looking up soccer and everything. And there was a bunch of cards. I mean, they're rookie cards. They have the RC and, they were Red Wave or this, that, and the other thing. And nobody was bidding on it. People had them for 99 cents with, like 99 cents or $1.25 shipping. So I'm like, well, I got the eBay bucks. What the heck? I'll throw a bid in with 10 seconds left. Oh my, I got it, So I have like 5 or 6, soccer cards coming in, this week that, I mean, I never would have really looked at them before, but I was like, what the heck? Some of them are still, inexpensive. Like you said, you pick up a rookie card. As long as it says rookie on it, if you only spend, a little bit.
Yep.
That's any.
Yeah.
And
I can see people really collecting, like, Messi, Sergio Ramos, a couple players that people will really collect and have the possibility of getting those numbers up there with, because if you think about it, soccer is a huge sport and that's watched worldwide. You know what I mean?
Yep. Exactly.
So
yeah, there was that American guy who scored a goal for something happened. I saw it on ESPN. It's like
in the semifinals of the Champions League, he's the first U.S. guy to ever do that.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you his name though.
Christian Pulisic or something.
Mbappe.
He's a good.
Is that the song by the Hansons?
That's Umba.
Oh,
got him.
Actually, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I was forced whenever I was a rookie wrestler to sing that Umbop in the middle of a bar, and I think we were in West Virginia.
Yeah, so a lot of things people don't know about Anthony. Anthony was a professional wrestler, but there's another piece that Anthony has a special tie to the football team in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And you were?
I used to be a ball boy for the Steelers when I was in high school.
Nice.
Yep, for 4 years.
That's not as cool as singing Umbop, though. All right.
They used to make all the players, like the rookie players, like get up and sing like during training camp, like during lunches and stuff. They'd have to do like embarrassing things, or else they'd get hazed by the veterans. Like I'll never forget Troy Edwards. He was a wide receiver for the Steelers. He refused to do it his rookie year, so the following year at training camp, to show the new rookies like that they had to do it, a bunch of the guys put a bunch of icy hot in his jock strap, and like it hit him like right when he was on the field, and it was like the most hilarious thing I've ever seen.
Oh man.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's some crazy times, and like for me, I grew up a huge Steeler fan, like basically being born in Pittsburgh. Like they basically swaddle kids in terrible towels here. So like for me, it was like a dream come true. The only thing that sucks is I stopped being a ball boy 1 year before they drafted Big Ben. So like I never got to be part of that journey, but I got to see the Cordell Stewart / Tommy Maddox years.
Was Troy there?
He was, yeah. Yep, he was the last draft pick. 2003 was the last year I was with him.
Was his hair really that cool?
Yeah, it was flowing and nice even from his rookie year. That was before all the commercials, though.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, hey, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start to wrap up here. We've gone, pretty good. Great show, guys. Thank you very much. Much appreciate our two guests going ahead and coming on with us. But let's go ahead and just go around and do some some last words, what you have going on, what you want to promote. That's another thing Oscar and I want to also do with this show is promote, the other channels, the other resellers, the other things that everybody goes ahead and does. So, Anthony, why don't you go ahead and start?
Sure. So if you guys would come check me out over on my channel, I do sports card content every single day over there. I try to do at least one live stream a week. And this Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, we're having a live sports card auction. And that would be an awesome way for any of you guys to source because typically this stuff sells for considerably under eBay. And a lot of our guys, flip the stuff, like our Instagram connections. Like they come in, they buy up stuff and flip them on Instagram. So might be a good opportunity for any of you guys looking into the card game cheap.
Yeah, and Anthony's Instagram and YouTube are in the description, are down in the description of this one. Mike?
Follow us at Huddle Card Collection on everything. eBay storage is HCC_sales. Just about 100 cards up there. Go check those out. YouTube, we're around 70 subscribers. We're trying to get up there to 100, so we only need a couple more. We're posting every other day on the even calendar days. I believe that's still going to continue through the month of May. I'm not sure.
We're going to have to get you guys on for an interview. I know we kept trying to schedule that and stuff kept popping up or whatever, but let's get you guys on and get you over that 100.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Got it.
I'm sure we'll be in touch, and I'll let you know what my work schedule is, so I'll be able to schedule around
I'm flexible, so just let me know what's good for you guys, and we'll figure something out.
Sounds good.
Big O.
Not much from me. It's a Saturday night. Bad Boys of Reselling, Bad Boys and Girls Club of America. That's on That Man the Flippers channel at 9 p.m. And also next week, we're going to have another reselling show on my channel, 10 p.m. So go check it out. A little bit of the same. I know that we're going to end up talking about cards again because this is, what it is. This is what's going on right now. But, check it out, same time, 10 p.m. my channel next week on Wednesday.
Yep. And like Mike already said, so I don't have to repeat that. But thanks a lot, everybody. I appreciate everybody who showed up. Thanks for the input from the viewers. Love your guys' comments and everything. Hope we can go ahead and and gave you guys some things to think about. Within the hobby, of how to do and everything. Hip Flipping Mama, we are going to have to, Oscar, we need to do a boxing show. Hip Flipping Mama wants a boxing show. We need to do a show. We'll figure out who we can get on. But we'll do,
I got some old signed pictures of old boxers.
There you go.
Yeah, almost about to come to
A
Miami.
new fight got announced in the last couple of days.
Big fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Floyd
50-0 against a YouTuber.
Yeah. 50-0 against a YouTuber. If that guy doesn't get the crap beat, if Logan doesn't get the crap beat out of him, man, people are going to lose a lot of respect for Floyd. But hey, with that, again, thanks everybody. Keep going. Keep moving the hobby forward. It's a great hobby. Bring your family, get your family involved in everything. It's been great for Mike and I having to do stuff. It's a hobby that's it's not just for guys, it's for girls also, little girls, older girls, whatever it is. It's a great hobby. Get into it. You won't regret going ahead and doing it. And with that, again, hey, thanks a lot. And we love all of you, and we appreciate you guys coming out. Thanks a lot.